Um, this is really, I thought I'd present a little bit about the history of our museum because it's pretty interesting and it's really important to us, and we're learning more about our history as we go and do more research and stuff like that. This is these two individuals are the ones responsible for the founding of this museum, Donald and Genevieve Gilmore. And there they are driving on the Gilmore grounds in the Stanley Seat. This is a wonderful picture of the Gilmore family in their first car, 1909 Cadillac. Donald Gilmore is at the wheel. His mother is sitting next to him. And James Stanley, the founder of the, not James Stanley, I'm sorry, Irving S. Gilmore, is standing on the running board. And the two aunts are in back. The one missing is James Stanley, the younger brother is missing. But isn't that a great picture? For years at the museum, we had this story, you know, and we tell all these wonderful stories. Years we thought that this car was the first car that Donald had, and he restored it, and his wife gave it to him. She was worried about him not being able to do anything in his retirement, so she gave him this car so he'd have something to work on, right? We found out, no, that story's wrong. We just found this out in the last few months. This was the first car that Genevieve bought for Donald. And it was the Best of Show Pebble Beach car, 1962. It was a 13 Rolls Royce. And that was actually the first car. We just found this out. It's funny, you know, you tell all these stories at the museum, and you know, you don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. However, you know, we do like to have the accurate information. This is March of 63. 63 was a big year for Donald. He did, however, later in 63, got this other 1920 Pierce Arrow. And what he did was he lived down here on Gull Lake. And in back of his house, he set up these tents. And he set up these tents in back of his house, and he started restoring the Pierce Arrow. So he put, and it's sort of unusual, but all he and his buddies had the engine out, had the car all taken apart, and started the restoration project right in his backyard. At the top here, he started he was planning on putting an addition on his backyard workshop. Donald was originally a silversmith. Silversmithing was his hobby. He was president of the Upjohn Company, but he did do silversmithing. He had a little shop back there, and he was expanding. Wife Genevieve suggested, she says, if your collection grows for more than 10 cars, that she doesn't want it in her backyard, right? Well, then Donald says a phrase that down here at the bottom, Donald writes to a friend that he's not buying any more cars until he has room to store them. We've all said that, right? So that's a phrase that car guys have said, or wives have said to their car guy husbands, or vice versa. Said, you're not buying any more cars. You have room to store. So this all happened May, June, July, right? He starts buying and renovating barns up on this property during the summer of 63. Here are a couple of the old barns that were actually here on the property. He purchased land north of his home on Gull Lake, and he bought two segments. The first segment was a narrow piece of land, and he bought this section up here. And right over here is this White House, which is now the miniature museum, which is attached to our museum property, sort of like a little sister museum. So he starts purchasing this property late in summer of 63. Then a friend of Donald's, in a note to him, says, hey, I know of 12 cars that are available for purchase. Donald responds, I have no interest in growing my collection or purchasing any more cars. A month later, he buys all 12 and 14 more. So he's really, he's really getting bit by the bug here and growing his hobby. These are a couple of the barns that Donald had on the property. He moved them, restored them, and you'll notice around, if you walk way over by this entrance. There's a side entrance that we use for car shows. If you've been here at Deutsche Mark, you come in on the side entrance. That used to be the main entrance of the museum. And you pass by these buildings. This was our office. This was our archives, library / storage area. And underneath these buildings, notice they've got a nice brick foundation, right? He put those foundations in and cleaned the buildings all up, painted them all up, restored them, and they're just beautiful. And these buildings now are still on property and they'll be repurposed. This building, we hope, is going to be our slot car track. We're putting in a really cool slot car track, which we think would be really appealing for fathers, sons, daughters, grandkids, grandfathers, whatever, grandmothers. Come out and race their slot cars. We'll have them available. We'll have kits to make and other stuff. John Lacko, who will be here shortly, he just left me a phone message. I hope it's not bad. He wants to have the slot cars available to anyone who wants to walk in and or you can bring your own, or you can even make your own. So that's a cool idea. This barn is the carriage house where the Hudsons are stored, right just past the diner. And this was a barn that was not an old barn. Actually, it's brand new. Donald built this barn to look like a traditional barn and put the nice windows. And he made over here on the right, the silo. He made a little meeting room in there with custom furniture, a little kitchenette. He really dialed it up, put an office in here up on the second. There's a little stairway that goes up. There's a little balcony here. He had his office up there. And so notice they're putting down sod out here in the country, around these barns. And he even had underground sprinkling installed for that. This was way back. It was pretty special. This is an early picture of the grounds in 1979, I believe. Here is Hickory Road, and here's the entrance that you come in on, like Deutsche Marks and stuff, the old entrance, the office, archives. This is the shop area. There was a little circle drive here. Here's the steam barn where we saw the old brass cars, right? It's the steam barn. This is where the Pierce Arrows are now, I believe. And so that's very early Gilmore Car Museum before it was open to the public. This large barn, which is in the center of our property, is called the C Barn. And this is that big, beautiful barn I was telling you about. And this is the Campion barn. This sat out near the edge of Fenville. It was owned by the A.M. Todd Mint Company. And Donald had an opportunity to purchase this barn, which he did. And so they took it apart, board for board. There it is at the Gilmore. This is the back side of it, but the other side has the big ramp that goes down toward Lincoln. And the second level of this, from here up, is a good 2+ stories. So when you go in there and you look up, it's really impressive and just a beautiful barn. This is a picture of the barn being taken down over here. This is again an original shot of the barn back in the day. This barn is the steam barn, where we have our early brass cars, where we walked as the brick floor, and we saw the very first car in Kalamazoo and so on. Donald was trying to purchase a barn just exactly like this from a farmer, and he didn't want to sell it. It was sort of like Disney, when they went down to Florida, they bought all the property for Disney World, right? They did it in a clandestine manner, right? In other words, they sent people out to purchase this land so they didn't know Disney was buying it. Because what would have happened if they knew Disney wanted to buy up all the land? The prices would go way up, right? Well, this guy wanted Gilmore to pay an exorbitant amount for this old barn. So he said, well, I don't know if I can pay that amount. It's just seems to be too much. Would you mind if I just, went ahead and measured it, And so he did. He measured the barn, and they figured out where all the posts were, and then he built his own barn. And he built it out of original material. These look like steel beams, but they're really big, huge, heavy wooden beams. And that's what the barn looked going up. And since then, we've done a lot of maintenance. We put in all brand new insulated windows. We put new wooden and PVC surrounds on the outside. So we've done a lot to make it sort of all year barn. We put some heating in there also, but that's the steam barn going on. And there it is right there. There's the steam barn. This is the sea barn. This is where the Gnome-mobile of the Disney exhibit is. Here's the carriage house. Here's the entrance that you drive in when you come into the museum. There's the old office, the archive, so on. And this is where we were when we walked down through the 30s cars. Yes?
You guys recently, when they put this all up, did they put the water in the barns for the fire protection?
I don't know. I imagine they did do that. I just don't know how many of the barns are protected that way, and I haven't really looked for it. But we did do some. These, of course, these have to be built to code according to new construction. This whole area is all new construction, so I'm sure this is all. But I don't know about the other barns if they have fire protection in there. I would imagine they do. We do have alarms on all the barns and security and everything, so that's electronically controlled. That's something I know that's in place. Oops. This is, again, Donald and Genevieve riding the steamer. There behind them is the carriage house. This is really cool. Back in the day before the museum opened to the public, in those early 60s years, we had Walt Disney come to the museum a number of times. He was a personal friend of Don Gilmore. They had homes, they were neighbors out in Palm Springs, California. And Walt just loved the museum. He came here on a number of occasions. He signed the book, the guest book. Look at the similarity between his signature and the Walt Disney logo. Isn't that interesting? A little circle for the dotted I. And he signed our guest book. He came here a number of times. He also, here's a picture of Donald and Walt Disney outside, or inside, I think, one of the buildings. We were trying to figure out the other day, what building are they inside? Might be the shop. The bowler here that Donald's wearing on the right there, we still have, and Dick Bowman in our library wears it on special occasions. Still got that bowler, that's cool. Walt Disney produced, as you know, zillions of wonderful movies. And one of the ones that he produced, which is still available, it's in we have it in our gift shop. It's called the Gnome-mobile. This movie was produced about the same time as Mary Poppins. And the same two kids in the Mary Poppins movie right here, Jane and Michael Banks, that played in Mary Poppins, were also in this movie. And it's the story of a grandfather taking his two grandkids out on a trip, and they go into the woods, into the forests out west, and they discover these gnomes, these little tiny little people. Well, to make and the gnomes rode in the back seat of the Rolls Royce. To make them look little, they had to build a giant set, a back seat of a Rolls Royce with the door and everything had to be exactly like the Rolls Royce, the original 1930 Rolls Royce they used in the film, except it had to be so big that if an actor sat back there, they'd look like a 1.5 foot tall person. So they went ahead and built the set, and here it is at our location. The cool thing about this is he let us have the car, the 30s Rolls that they used in the movie. We just had to pay for the shipping. So it was like a gift. And then he sent along as a surprise this huge back seat for the Rolls, the set that they used in the film. It's the only set we know of that's ever left the Disney studios. And we called them to get some verification on the information we had, and they said, oh no, we don't give away our sets to anybody. We either recycle the material or we reuse them in some way. We don't waste anything, and we don't give our sets away. So we're lucky to have this. The only reason we got it is Walt Disney said send it out to the Gilmore, which they did. So that was pretty cool. Here's a picture. Tiny little people in the back seats. Here's an interesting article from 1966. Donald is featured in Newsweek magazine, right? For breaking the world's record amount for an antique car. $28,000 for that 1910 Rolls Royce that he purchased in London. That was considered exorbitant amount to pay, right? Nowadays, Barrett Jackson, what do we see all the time? Are these all these auctions where people are spending $1 million on this and that? That's sort of interesting.